but I'm going to get to it in a second. Media Matters, Vox and HuffPo, three completely disgraceful, disgusting organisations that is activism disguised as journalism, which is the theme for today's show. They've got our Mayor Pete, who he slid into the Beto position. You may remember Beto O'Rourke, the Democrat candidate that celebrities poured millions into for his Texas campaign. He lost, but everyone said he's going to be president. Now, Mayor Pete came along, very, very similar sort of vibe about him, but he's gay. He's proudly gay. So obviously, with the Democrats being completely lost to identity politics at the moment, this guy just wiped Beto off the ground. And you know, good or bad, I think he seems like a nice guy to me. He does. Perfectly good person to be a candidate, all the rest of it. I don't like all the identity politics about him, but he doesn't really do the identity politics as so much, if that makes sense. Like, it's other people putting it on him, and I'm not gonna judge him for what his supporters say. Now, he was due to be on Rubin Report with Dave Rubin, a show that I don't watch. I don't really like it myself, but it does have value. It has tremendous value. It does have biases, of course it does. Dude's a mad libertarian, man. But the value it has is it has people on and it lets them speak. Yeah, you might like these people, you might not like these people. He has a huge mix of people on there with all sorts of different perspectives. And good. We need more of this. If someone thinks something, I want to hear it from them. I don't want Vox to rewrite it for me. I don't want the HuffPost to sort of put their spin on it and all the rest of it. Now, Mayor Pete was due to go on there. Brilliant. More speech. Let's hear what he's got to say. But these scumbags... this is Angelo from Media Matters. If you don't know who Cernovich is and why this is probably not a good idea, look for the mayor. Feel free to visit Media Matters or just DM me. I'd be happy to share. So yeah, they've pressured him basically. They've pressured Mayor Pete. Look at this, shaming this prick from Vox, shaming the press secretary for DMing Dave Rubin. How disgusting is this? How insane is this? If you're going to complain that Dave Rubin only has right-wing reactionaries on the show, but then you're also going to harass anyone who you can't label as that from not going in, then you've created the problem, haven't you, Carlos? It's your doing at this point, you freak. Anthony as well, prick from the Huffington Post. This podcast is starting to look like a bad idea. Why is it starting to look like a bad idea? Because you are smearing it, because you are pressuring it, and you are... What it is the Vox and the HuffPo are dying. They're dying. Media Matters is a little bit different, but these people got so much speculative investment on the basis of the fact that they got clicks. Facebook just has pretty much abandoned them at the moment because in terms of their censorship and their hate speech stuff, they can no longer account for like just kicking off Tommy Robinson, but not these guys. The same rules that are applying to them. But anyway, he cancelled. You know what, Mayor Pete? Go fuck yourself. If you can't stand up to Vox, then you can't stand up to Trump. It ain't going to work out, mate. It's probably for the best. Just quit now. You're never going to be president. Jesus. Sweet Jesus. And yes, speaking of that, Paul Joseph Watson, the Imagine My Shot guy from Prison Planet from InfoWars, is shown today exactly what I am talking about here. Because here's Mike Stuchbury, 2018, happy about the fact that Stitcher had dropped InfoWars. Let the market decide. Yes, you're happy to celebrate, but you're not letting the market decide, are you? You are smearing. You are pressuring. You are shaming people for wanting to hear someone's point of view. This comes back onto Mayor Pete, our super social liberal, gay mayor, lovely guy that speaks all these different languages, that does all these wonderful things. He's a soldier. I think he was in like the volunteer fire department and all sorts of lovely stuff. The same smears that you use is now backfiring. And here we go, Mike, you prick. What the fuck, Facebook? Someone reported my Independent article. Oh, we're going to get onto the Independent more today as well. About Tommy Robinson running for MEP. And you deleted it for going against community standards. Yes, Mike. Yes, Vox. Yes, Huffington Post. Yes, fucking BuzzFeed News. The situation you've created is backfiring on you. You have got to the point where any mention of Tommy Robinson gets deleted from Facebook. Or no, there's a more accurate way of saying that. Any mention of Tommy Robinson potentially has it. So if I just write Tommy Robinson on Facebook, which is not going to happen because I walked away ages ago. I'm going up for 2 years off Facebook now. If someone reports that, just the word Tommy Robinson, or Tommy Robinson deserves the right to speak, that can be deleted. It has been deleted. This has been documented many, many times. It's now firing back against you, isn't it, Mike? Your own little independent smear piece for Tommy goes against it. Fucking freak. They don't learn though, do they? Some of them are learning slowly, very, very slowly. But yeah, a little bit of schadenfreude for you in the morning. But here's the thing. It's getting better. There's good news. Happy things are happening. So here we go. Facebook changes live stream rules after New Zealand shooting. There's Nick Clegg there. The breaker of promises. He's been hired by them. Now, I'm not so interested about this. I can understand them doing this and all the rest of it, because what they're saying is they're bringing in a new rule that with the New Zealand shooter, if it had been in place, he wouldn't have been able to live stream his thing. Now, all right, here's the obvious thing. Yes, he wouldn't have been able to live stream on Facebook. He just would have done it somewhere else. These people don't seem to realise that, do they? They don't seem to understand that you can't just crush an opinion. You can't just crush a perspective. You can't just censor. You can't just get rid of these people. It doesn't work. But New Zealand has led the charge with 14 other countries. It's been gone by New Zealand and France to encourage tech companies and countries to work together to do more to limit the spread of extremist content online. Now, here's the thing. They're not limiting it. They're banning people. They're suppressing speech for arbitrary reasons. It's social engineering. And the more they do it, the worse things get. There's just been an upset in Australian elections. The centre-right party have come in and they're calling it like it's like Trump or Brexit or whatever. People are going, "Oh no!" And that's I would attribute part of that to the fact that this censorship is coming in. People want free speech. They want to stand up to it. But there's some good news, man. America's standing up to him. It makes me so happy, this. And people are pointing at Trump and saying he's a bad man, and we covered this a tiny bit on Thursday, but I really wanted to bring this up again as part of this. All these countries that are supposedly trying to get rid of hate speech and all the rest of it, which is the American government, the White House has said, no, we're not doing it. Because it's part of the Constitution, it's part of the First Amendment. The American government can't pass any laws to restrict speech. That's how it works. They can't do it. And good. Whilst the whole world is panicking, whilst the whole world is freaking out about the rise of extremism, America's standing up to him. And this makes me very, very, very happy. And in fact, I've moved it. So give me a second, actually. This might take me it's Verge, isn't it? And here's the thing. They're not just standing up to them. They've actually released this tool, and this is phenomenal news. It really is. Like, love, hate, indifference to Donald Trump, not relevant, right? Take him out of the equation for a moment and just look at it this way. If you suspect political bias caused such an action to be taken against you, share your story with President Trump, okay? And I hope that everyone on the left and the right does this, especially American citizens. This is so important. There is a huge war being waged right now. And it is the people who control the media, the people that want to continue to control the narrative, for the simple reason that it keeps their shitty websites alive, Vox and BuzzFeed and even The Verge. They want to keep control of the narrative. They don't like these other people that are coming in and taking over. They don't like the fact that I can just sit here, not that I'm some big fish in all this, but people like me can just sit here and talk. They don't like it. They label it as hate. They label it as everything. You all know the smears, man. And finally, this is the really good thing about this new tool, right? This isn't some big, it's not taking any kind of political stance whatsoever right now, yeah? We've got first name, last name, are you a US citizen, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into this, actually. No, we're not going into that right now. But they're asking for screen grabs, they're asking for what happened, and good. They are collecting a body of evidence that shows that these tech companies that have taken over public discourse, they have dominated the public space, right? We can't keep saying any longer that it's just a private company, right? We can't. A private company buys the park and then bans you for going in there because you're black. That's not fair. They can't. Someone desires service to you based on the colour of your skin, your sexuality. That cannot happen. We have laws against that, and for good reason. Okay? Now, these people have dominated to the point where they influence global elections. They are openly removing Trump supporters from Facebook right now. And this is a problem whether you support Trump or not. This is a huge problem. Okay? This is amazing. This is fucking amazing. Share it. Let people know. Give them the ammo that they need to actually, because regulation is coming whether you like it or not. It is. The internet's going to change. It's already happening, man. But right now, MasterCard, Patreon, Facebook, all these people at the moment, they're the ones making the rules. Government will step in. If you've got a left-leaning government right now, that's never going to stay forever. You'll always get a right-leaning government at some point. And if things keep going the way they are, you're going to get a very, very right-leaning government. Because the more angry people get, the more they're going to vote that way, okay? And these people will bring in legislation. This, right now, is our only hope in terms of the legislation being on the side of empowering people, on the side of protecting your right to speak. That's what we need. All this shit at the moment with attacking, that's a totally different thing, actually. We'll get to that in a minute. All this shit at the moment with attacking people's reputation, all this shit with, pressuring advertisers, shame by association, guilt by association, all that bollocks. Either that's going to win or free speech is going to win. And the tech companies, YouTube, Facebook, they need the power. They need to step back, right? So if you see an advert on YouTube, what needs to happen is the legal protection. So when YouTube has that advert and someone might not agree with something I'm saying, or someone that anyone's saying, and they say, how could you put that advertisement next to that? YouTube needs the political and the social power to say, we can't do anything about this. The advertisers are supporting the platform. That's what we need. We need that freedom of speech. It needs to be built in, man. We've had great revolutions in all sorts of ways and throughout history, and we need one right now in terms of the internet. We need one. It's only going to get worse until it gets better. We need freedom of speech. Step up. Support it. Speak up. I know you might be worried. You might have a job. You might be worried about your family. And you know what? Be reasonable about it, okay? And be nice. Don't be a dick about it, but you need to stand up for this or it'll be gone. Juliana says, it's like they feel we're unworthy to form our own opinions. Fact is, removing both sides of an argument leads to more divisiveness. Of course it does. And all these people that you ban. Right, okay. Let's put it this way, right? the vast majority of the people don't give two shits about the media. They don't care about. They don't know that the Guardian is far left, for example. They don't know that it has. That they don't know that most publications have a bias, a political leaning. They don't know that activists have just taken over newspapers at this point for the most part. They don't realise this. They just buy whatever they buy and they read the news and that's it. They don't know. They don't understand. And there's nothing wrong with that. They don't have to live in that world. They don't realise until they're the ones that get banned for saying something. That women don't have penises. Blocked, gone, banned. You're out. Bye. Right. So suddenly a normal person who's just come across the culture war and just said, "Wait. Women are women," and it's like, right, you're banned now. That person who didn't give a shit about it, didn't care about the leanings or anything like that, suddenly they've been politicised, and they're not allowed to express their opinions. They're not allowed to have a debate. They're not allowed to have a discussion. There's not allowed to be nuance. They're gone. They're outed. They're on Gab, which isn't in itself, a hateful thing, but then because they're on Gab, they're part of the side that's been smeared. Who do they turn to? The people calling them racist, bigots, Nazis, or the people making memes that are telling them they're okay and saying welcome to the club? Who are they going to go for? And if they are not exposed to these opinions and they're not exposed to these other things, then it's all brand new to them. They don't have the necessary defences against the bad actors within it. Bad actors within any and all movements. They don't have any defences against it, and that's the problem. That's where we are. Thank you, Julian, for your comment. That's the thing, isn't it? And that's why I don't watch Dave Rubin. I've seen a couple of them, but I don't like it generally. It's just a bit. He's a bit too distant, and he's a bit too passive. And for me, I'd like him to just challenge them a bit more. Not necessarily, not with this gotcha journalism bullshit, but just have a bit more going on. I don't want to insult his intelligence, because he's obviously not stupid, but the way his mind works, I guess he's not got like that desire for like the banter quite as much. That there's not enough edge to him. But I stand by his right to speak. I stand by what he does completely. 100%, man. Let the man speak. Disgraceful assholes. Guys, if you're new, please subscribe, watch more videos, do everything. Get yourself on triggerwarning.tv.